Video is for people who want to learn digital painting but are struggling to, make something that looks good. So I'm going to teach you how to actually progress from step zero to, the final, making something that looks decent. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're already more advanced, but this is mostly aimed towards beginners because kind of stuff that I wish someone would have told me when I was starting out, and some mistakes that I used to do a lot. So this is painting 101. I'm gonna walk you through the process, the entire process of painting, again from step zero. We're gonna do it together, so let's begin. Okay, guys. So the step number one is find a reference. So this might be kind of stupid. You might think, oh, I don't need a guide for this. But hear me out. We actually need, especially if you are struggling, we can't overlook a good reference because this is actually very important. So I'm going to show you. So this is the reference I choose. And the reason why I chose this reference is because it has a very strong and dramatic lighting. So it makes it a very easy reference for us to study. And you can find a lot of these references on Pinterest, on whatever place on the internet. Just look for, I don't know, statues or something. You might find something, right? So we have this right here, and we already like this is step one, right? So the step two is to simplify this reference and actually, make something out of this. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna we're not gonna go into color yet. I know this is a video about painting, and oh yeah, we're not going to color first. It is important you think you're not above any of those steps because this is a very important and efficient process that you must respect. Even if you're advanced, this is the kind of shit that it's always worth practicing. Don't never make the mistake of thinking you are above any of these steps. So what we're gonna do is just do a study in black and white. Okay, this is very important. So we're gonna get we're gonna use this brush right here. We're gonna use a hard brush. So this has zero opacity, and so we're gonna just make a study of this. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is paint, or like not even paint, maybe just like carve the shapes of the reference we're looking at. So this is gonna get us comfortable with simplifying value and getting the proportions right, which is very important, right? So we're gonna start carving the shapes with white and black. So that's that. You see now it's starting to actually take some form, take some shape, uh, and it's a very fun exercise to do. Okay, so here we have a very quick and very simple study. There's nothing too complicated going on. As you can see, it's just a matter of uh, breaking down the shapes into very, just simplifying everything. This will get you very comfortable with simplifying all the shapes and the values, which it's pretty much everything you need if you want to become a good painter. So yes, once we're able to do this, and hear me out again, don't think you are above this because this is very useful no matter what your skill level is. You're never above doing this kind of studies. So again, this is step one. So this is our first step to making something good. Again, if you skip any steps, it's gonna be harder. So okay, so what we're gonna do now is just repeat this a lot. We're gonna do this as much as we can until we feel comfortable with doing this type of studies, and then we're gonna move into blending. Uh, we're not going to use color yet because it's good to be able to do something that looks good and finish without necessarily having to add color. It's just easier for the sake of learning. So what we're going to do is get a brush with opacity, and what we're going to do is just choose the edges that we're going to blend based on the photograph. So yeah, we're just gonna do this. It doesn't have to be perfect though. It's just more like a hint. It doesn't have to be super render or anything. But yeah. Again, I'm using very basic brushes. So these are the default brushes from Photoshop. So you don't have to think too hard on which brush are you going to use, or just use a normal brush. Trust me, it will be harder if you keep changing brushes all the time. If you have trouble with blending values, just practice that as well. Again, just pick an edge and just try to, try to blend it in a way that's nice and soft. You can see it's looking a lot better now. It's looking a lot more realistic and a lot more like the reference. So yeah, that's always a good sign. So yes, I'm gonna call it here. You can see I made this in no time. This study was very, very quickly. So what I just did by adding more values and like the shadows and stuff is rendering. This is called rendering. So rendering is just pretty much detailing the small parts after you already like done the overall structure of the face like I did. So let me show you the so I'll show you the comparison so you can see it yourself. So here I have the little sketch I did that literally took me like 5 minutes to make. And you can see this is a very quick way of painting and getting stuff done. So a lot of people have the struggle that they don't really know how to start. Like they see the blank canvas and they kind of feel intimidated. But you really don't have to. I think it's a really good mindset to think, all right, I have a white canvas. I'm gonna add some black. I'm gonna add some, yeah, like very contrasting values. So it's no longer intimidating. It's just, matter of carving out, which is kind of fun. It's kind of like sculpting. So if you want to be great, you want to do this a lot. And I wish somebody told me that when I was starting out because this is very important and this literally, like, you can see it yourself. I also want to give a little disclaimer here. If you cannot do this straight away, if you cannot like blend the values and make something look pretty straight away. So this is the unsexy advice of, oh yeah, it takes practice. This is just consistency. If you're able to do this right here, if you're able to do this is already pretty good. You should be proud of yourself. Again, especially if you're starting out, I get it. It's hard to grasp all the fundamentals. But if you're able to do this alone, this is going to take you a long way. If you're struggling with this, well, you just practice that. Just progressively make it harder. So, don't jump straight into color and stuff. Notice how I didn't even use color in this one. Matter of fact, I could actually add the color on top. But I'm gonna show you later in this video how to start adding color from scratch. So, but anyways, let's get rid of this real quick. So I'm gonna make another study. Okay, so what I have here is just another reference which I'm gonna paint. Again, this is a very easy, fairly easy reference, right? So you might want to get this kind of reference on the internet. Again, just look for statues in shadow or something like that, and it will show up. So again, you can simplify all of this. Let me do just that, just for the sake of showing. Maybe this is going to make it easier for some of you to understand. So this right here, you can see it has like very subtle changes in value. What I'm gonna do is just block this. Like this is all black for me, right? This is all black. This isn't like yeah. It's just black and white, right? This is white. This is also white, white, black. This is pretty much what we are trying to do. And of course, we're gonna do it in a pretty way. And it might look kind of ugly at first, but of course, we're gonna end up blending everything, and it's gonna look nice. So once again, I'm just gonna let me get this out of the way. Uh, Once again, I'm just gonna fucking, and I'm gonna try to replicate this, and I'm gonna use the same thing, but I'm gonna use flat colors. So let's say the background is this color right here and this value, and let's say I want to use this value right here, or this color for the statue, for the lighter color. Maybe a little bit more greenish. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. I'm gonna add some color later on. Okay, so here's one useful tip that I'm gonna give to you if you're struggling with getting the proportions right. So my mindset, what I'm thinking of when I'm doing this is just okay. Uh, how do I get this to look right, and how do I get it to look proportional? Because proportions here are very important and very noticeable. So if you fuck up, it will show. So what I like doing is just using for example here, the head and the edge of the canvas as a reference or as a guide. So I use the relationships here to kind of guide me. Okay, the head is this far away from the edge of the canvas, so I kind of, know. So that's what I do. Okay, yeah, just like this. And the same thing here. So what I do is, okay, roughly here. And then I just connect everything and start painting away. So yeah, don't be afraid to adjust things on the go. It's fine. Make it up as you go along and it'll be fine. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make this a little bit lighter. One last thing, if you are wanting to do these studies, use very contrasting colors or values. So don't do this, for example. Don't use this as your darkest value and then, oh yeah, this is my lighter value. This is way too close to each other in terms of value. So use something, don't be afraid to use white. And you also want to keep the shapes as simple as possible. Try to connect the darker shapes as much as you can. So what I'm doing here is just blocking the entire like silhouette. When you're doing these studies, you will realize very quickly that some references are way trickier than others. And of course, I recommend if you're starting out, preferably don't use, references like I'm doing here, which are kind of difficult. By the way, talking about mental gymnastics, if you're having trouble with, getting the shapes right, try to find in the negative space or in the silhouette similarities with other objects or things you've seen that are not quite related to this. For example, here in this reference, I kind of see the silhouette of a dog, and you might think, "Oh, you're on fucking drugs. What the fuck?" But hey, hear me out. I kind of see like, let me see if I can show it to you. This is very helpful. Just bear with me, please. So this is kind of the silhouette of a dog, right? You can see like this is the head, this is the nose, these are the ears, this is the body. Kind of a weird position, but you know, these are the mental gymnastics that are very helpful because all right, if you know this is the silhouette of the dog, you can carve it easierly. You can carve it very easy. And it will actually make sense. Use your imagination a little bit and your, I don't know, common sense. Okay, so this one definitely took me a lot more time because it was fucking hard. So yeah, maybe try to pick just easier references. But anyways, it kind of worked out. Again, it probably doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe, as long as it is believable, it probably will work. Again, especially when you're I'm gonna render it. So let's do just that. It's time to render this one out. So let's see how it turns out. For this one, I'm using a brush with opacity. So when I go over this one, it actually blends quite nicely, right? I know I said I was gonna add some color, but I ended up making it very subtle because the reference itself is very subtle. I'll probably add some more like hue, variety. Okay, guys, so we are pretty much done with this one. And yeah, I said I was gonna add color, but I ended up not doing that. Okay, so this is the original or the sketch, the rough state of the this painting. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It turned out okay. Uh, I did spend a lot more time than the first one because of course this one is more complicated, and I actually wanted to make it look pretty. But as you can see, we went from this one to this one. Like this is the exact same um, drawing right here. I just added more value and blending, and that's how you make it look pretty, basically. So yeah, thank you all guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave it here in the comment section, or I'll answer them. So yeah, see you.